Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another exciting chapter of the sci-fi series Nunatayet. This will be chapter 13, Mechanical Aliens. So some of the new things we'll be covering are truther interrogators. Truthers can just see on a person whether they are lying and they know they're lying, or they're lying but they believe they're telling the truth. So they make excellent interrogators. And the second new item will be a place somewhere in Nunatayet, perhaps on a separate plane of existence called Dreamville, that's based on the old Earth life in the 50s and 60s. So here's a review. We left a group of males who had been kidnapped by the Soul Eaters, and also Hambly the Hermit, who was finishing a 2-year sabbatical there, inside the caves on the island of the Stillness, and they were being flooded. We also left a tea party with the Jalwath and Jalwatha priest line, who were having some type of secret meeting with the General Nakobi and the shadow leader Anichi. And we had the flyby newsboys flying over the Stillness Forest, and a new group, the Cowboys, a law enforcement group based in the Central Command area of Nunatayet, headed up by Captain J. Mack, who had recruited his people from other law enforcement agencies and said, "Send me your independent thinkers, you're fallen and you're unforgiven." So let's get started. Okay. The flyby newsboys, Jeb the Inventor and Claude the Stoic, were flying over the Stillness Forest. They had heard about the military buildup there, and they were freelance newsers. So they wanted to fly over, take pictures, and then sell their story. Now, Jeb the Inventor had come up with a way to cloak their plane, and so they were flying over the forest area. But Nunatayet's military was pretty good at their ability to determine things flying around in their area. So they sent out even though it was cloaked, they could still see it on their equipment. They sent out a long, strong, independent, wireless beam collector that took control of the plane and pulled it out of the air and set it down into one of their fields. And then they approached the plane, the special forces did, with their weapons drawn. And the flyby newsboys didn't resist, certainly not. They stepped down and complied. Handcuffs were put on them. Then they were taken to a special interrogation area where a truther was going to be asking them questions. Okay. Coming back and moving into the cave tunnels where tons of water was coming from multiple directions, washing the males down the tunnels who had been kidnapped by the Soul Eaters, and from another leg of the tunnels, washing Hambly the Hermit down. They all converged into a common area and were thrown into this large pond area. They swam to the side of the pond and climbed up onto the rocky cave floor. After a few minutes of catching their breath, They exchanged names and stories. Hambly had in his backpack the parasite animal specimens, although he didn't realize they were self-aware and were in contact with mechanical alien particles in the Stillness Forest. Outside the Stillness Forest, in the military prep area, the priest, General Nakobe, and Shadow Leader Anichi shared intel in their calm, secure tea table setting. From the last chapter, they had disguised their teacups with small metal strainers that had little antenna on them. That was to block comms from the AI and wirelessly projecting into the area. Okay, Thomas Moreau, a Jawath male priest, said, "We have discovered in our ancient records, written in the old language, stories of the soul eaters. They came here from a distant planet about 75,000 years ago. They came because most of their males had become like zombies from an invasion of mechanical alien particles. The females then invented a soul extractor to remove souls of other compatible males from other species to place inside the bodies of their males. But Nunatayet's records indicated they had been eradicated during a war on Nunatayet. It is a mystery if the soul eaters have returned and how, because the portal was destroyed for them to travel from their planet to Nunatayet. In Nunatayet's central command at the cowboy compound, Captain J. Mac greeted Sergeant Johnny Twostone. "Johnny, grab a cup of coffee and come to my office." Captain J. Mac wisely decided not to say anything about Sergeant Twostone sleeping on his dead wife's grave at night in his tribal lands cemetery. Instead, he said, "Johnny, I understand you can ride stones. Tell me about it." Johnny replied, "Yes, part of my spirit gift from Y is I can sense spirits within stones and communicate with them." Captain J. Mac asked, "What does it mean by ride?" Sergeant Johnny Twostone answered, "To ride the stone means to overcome it by your mind, will, and spirit." Captain J. Mac outlined what was going on in the stillness and that General Nakobe had requested a stone rider. Captain J. Mac asked, "Are you interested?" Sergeant Johnny Twostone replied, "Absolutely, but I would like to work with my usual partner, Trey Twostone, my cousin. He's also a stone rider and a barkeep on the Desperado." Captain J. Mac said, "Let's contact him and set it up." The Stillness Project Cowboy Group consisted of Captain J. Mac, Anna Peach, who was security, and Sergeant Johnny Twostone, who were on their way to pick up the second stone rider, Trey Twostone. Now, on another plane of existence in Nunatayet, in a place called Dreamville, Betty Jones, dressed in a light blue shirtwaist dress, red heels, and a pink chiffon apron, set melamine dishes on the formica table for her family. She then twirled around and called her family for dinner in her soft, lilting voice. Junior and Susie sat down at the table. Dad laid down his newspaper and sat down at the head of the table. He had shiny hair, clear skin, and sparkling teeth. Just then, the analog telephone that hung on the kitchen wall rang. Dad answered it and then went in the bedroom to change into his Superman outfit. He opened the front door. Betty Jones said, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry you have to go to work. We were going to watch I Love Lucy later." Dad said, "I'll be back." Then he flew out the door into billions of circuits with binary code everywhere. Dad was going to fix a code problem in the Stillness Forest, where mechanical alien particles were interacting with AI strangelets. To be continued. I love you, and I'll see you soon.